is it's just MIDI, so you can change these timbres, whatever you like. Yep. And there we go. Where's my cascada sound? There we go. So you can map these things to really kind of whatever you wanted to. And the notion was that then I was going to be in the classroom, and then that kid who was not going to play the piano or guitar, or has no interest in playing the glockenspiel, which I found was like every one of my students had no interest in playing the glockenspiel, or the xylophone is what you call it. So then I would give that kid the laser and say, okay, the kid who played the bass guitar, all right, lay down some groove in E major, get something going. Kid on the drums, he gets this thing going, and then they set up some little pattern or whatever. And then that kid who didn't want to be there and like had no interest in music class or me or any of my stuff, now that kid gets to control a laser, which is power. You know, and like, you know, how cool does that kid feel with, you know, yes, I'm rocking out with a laser, you know, it's great. And what I soon found out was that a lot of my students would then, they would have these conversations on their own talking about the music. So like the bass player or the guitar player would say, when I'm soloing, I want you to play the lower notes because it needs more, you know, it needs more bottom at that point. All right, cool. And so then he starts playing sort of in this range here to get lower notes happening. And they start having these conversations, musical conversations, and they don't know yet what they're talking about musically. They're just kind of doing it. And it let me, as a teacher, facilitate a discussion and say, oh, do you know what you're really doing? It's this, it's all these things, and these things would really help to make it better. Oh, wow, great ideas. So it was one example of, which is sort of a common theme for me, which we'll talk about, which is using technology to facilitate your objectives instead of letting it be sort of the other way around. You know, taking your cues from what software can do for you. Like this is like a real concentrated program. It's kind of a one-trick pony, really. It does kind of what it does in terms of scales. But for my purposes, if teaching scales was the deal, it was helping me to do that. It was helping that little kid to do that.